Ceri Jones.
Hey guys, and welcome to this week's podcast. This week's guest hails from Yorkshire and has fished his local rivers since he was a young boy. However, it's the still waters and reservoirs he prefers to be. He started fly fishing at Stocks Reservoir, but nowadays enjoys nothing better than to be afloat on his local lake, Malham Tarn. Many of you will know him for his flytying at various shows, including the BFFI and the Irish Fly Fair. Welcome to my chat with Stephen Smalley. Hi Stephen, thanks for joining me.
Hi Ceri, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How has your season been?
My season, Ceri, has been very good. It's been a busy old year, really. Spent most of my winters, early part of the year, on Barnesville, which is still small water, which is, it's not an easy place to fish, but you can be rewarded with overwinter fish, and that was very good, through the winter. And then, obviously, with the season opener, luckily I was invited to tie at the BFFI on Tyres Row, which is always great because it kicks the season off. You catch up with many people throughout that you don't see throughout the year.
Yeah,
that was really good, really busy. Enjoyed that. And then a lot of the early season was actually spent down at Drake at a few competitions down there early season, which were individual stuff, and then team competition, the airflow. We along with my teammate the Ospreys, we did. So we spent a lot of April and May down there, which was really good. The fishing was, nymphy fishing. The water was calm. You were getting them on dries as well, so it was just power straight. Of course, the babs and blobs were still working, but our preference is more nymphy type fishing, which we were doing, which was ace.
How did you do in the competition?
We did all right, actually. I can't remember how many teams fished it, but we were third, which qualified us for the international final at Rutland. So it was mission accomplished, as it were. That's what we were going to try and do, and we did. So. All
right, that was good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good fishing too. So, and then into June, or forgetting actually, I had a couple of trips up to Malham, which was ace. Not somewhere you go and catch lots of fish potentially. It's somewhere you can go and catch. Not guaranteed, but certainly £4 plus.
I remember seeing the feature you done for the Journal on Malham Tarn. Incredible fishing.
Yeah.
In fact, another one of my podcast guests loves the lake as well, and you probably know him, is Melvin Wood.
I do know Melvin very well. Melvin.
I think it's his local water as well. He's up by you somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I don't know how the season ended up there, but I think it fished predominantly fairly well generally. I mean, it's not an easy place to fish, but the rewards are well worth the effort. Let's put it that way.
It's mostly lakes you fish, though, isn't it?
Predominantly, yeah. I spend most of my time on lakes, a little bit on the rivers, but not much. But yeah, predominantly on the lakes.
When I was talking to you last, you mentioned that your son Callum taking you into the dark side of grayling fishing as well, no?
Yeah. So Callum has fished the lakes, but his enjoyment now is certainly on the rivers. Even through the summer when he gets a chance. But in the back end, he spent some of his time the grayling, and he's done really well. He's had quite a bit of success, and certainly he inspired me to go and have a few days out with him, which have been really good. We've done really well and enjoyed it too.
Where is it you fished up there then for the grayling?
So we've a few rivers around us, but predominantly there's the Ribble, the Hodder, and the Calder, and we've been spending a bit of time on the Calder and then a bit of time on the Hodder as well.
I noticed you've been busy tying, that you put a photograph on social media of a box of flies, grayling flies. They look pretty impressive.
There again, that was sort of inspired by Carl and what he was doing. I just sort of took a box together again. So yeah, early November.
Does he fish competition fishing, Callum?
Not now, he did. He fished, as a youngster, he fished the youth quite well. Luckily he was youth champion in 2012, I think it was. seems to be bothered by the competition side of it now. Just prefers to take himself off and does river stuff and enjoys it.
You did a lot of it in your time, haven't you?
I have done quite a bit in my time. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where it, not where it all started, but because when we were growing up, we had with the Ribble and the Hodder, but we couldn't get much access to it because most of it was club water, and the bits that we could, the council access stretches which we could get out, they weren't the best stretches. And at the time, a lot of the clubs weren't really, or our local clubs weren't really interested in young lads joining the clubs. It sort of pushed us towards the stillwaters. A lot of my friends in this area ended up fishing on stillwaters, and we had Stocks Reservoir was our local water, and a lot of us ended up going up there. And then in the late 90s, we created a competition team there with both, local small competitions for the local lads to form small teams, and also John Hawes's the angling and water competition. So it created a strong competition scene locally, which a lot of us enjoyed. It was something different. But there was then the opportunity to go down, if you qualified for one of the matches, to either fish on Rutland or Chew Valley, which then a lot of us here hadn't had that experience. So, you got down there and you were fishing with anglers that were locals. So quite often we didn't do that well then, but we learnt quick because we had to.
It used to be known, didn't it, Stocks? He used to stock some big fish in there.
He did, yeah. Didn't put many in, but now and again he did. He put some big browns in and some big rainbows. But 2-3 pound fish that he stocked that were, the top of the water sport at Stocks at the time was, it really was as good as anything that there was around, because a lot of terrestrials up there, although it's fallen off. Certainly not as many around as there used to be, but the dry fly fishing up there at one time was excellent. There was nowhere better at the time.
What's the river that comes out of Stocks then?
That's the Hodder.
The Hodder, that's the one you've been fishing, is it?
Yeah, that's the River Hodder, yeah.
So are you going to be going into the competition scene with the grayling?
No, I don't. Just keep that as pleasure now, I think. Some of those boys are good on the rivers. I'm not that good as good as those boys. And I think when you start going down the competition route as well, you can potentially spoil it. You start putting pressure on yourself and you need to spend time on rivers that you don't necessarily know and you need to get to know. So not for now anyway.
You got a couple of international caps.
I have, yeah. I was lucky enough to get a couple of Lockstar caps. One up at Mentee, one at Chew. I haven't got there again since, so need to shape up and maybe get another one.
Do you fish the trials now, or you just haven't had time to do it?
No, I did. I fished the national last year. I still continue to fish trials, but just been a bit inconsistent in recent times. How
did you do in the internationals you fished?
The international that we fished in Scotland, we didn't do too well. We ended up with a wooden spoon, and then, which was actually, as much as we did end up with a wooden spoon, it was a real learning curve for me at the time. But then when we went to Chew, we got the gold, as we
nice.
were sort of expected to on our home water. But that was really good, really enjoyable.
Yeah. So how did it all start for you? Get into the fishing?
It's funny that because none of my family, no anglers in my family at all. But the village grew up had a stream. And there was always a good head of small brown trout. And I'm talking 7, 8, 9 years old. We used to go and spot worms, maggots, all kinds. We'd catch them. We'd put them back. We didn't take them. But it's just what we used to do. You strap your rod to your bike, catch a few. We didn't always get them, and then we'd go. The River Ribble was about a mile and a half from where I lived. So we were lucky enough to have a local tackle shop called Ken Berry, which was on the market in Clitheroe. And we could go in there and get advice from Ken, and he'd set us up and get us going, and that's where it started. We started ledgering on the river, some trout, chub, eels, and it went from there really. That's where it went from, and then the fly fishing side of it started at Stocks really. Break when I got a bit older, and then came back to it in my late 20s, I guess. So a big friend of mine who is called Bob Cooper, And certainly in the my early days on stocks, he helped me a lot. And Bob and I still fish together now. We spent so much time on stocks together, and then going up and down the country as well. Fishing Rutland, getting onto Graff and Drake, but these other Midlands waters that that we both enjoyed together.
And doesn't he fish for the English disabled team?
He's qualified again this year. I think this year will be his 20th cap. So, and I've been with him the last 4 or 5 years. I've been team manager and helped them, plan, help them get there.
Right.
I was on the boats.
Oh, that's right.
And the fly.
You were fishing. You were involved in it this year, weren't you? In the summer.
I was. Yeah, we were at Bennig.
Oh, sorry, I remember you saying no.
In summer, which was good. It was not the easiest, but it wasn't hard either. But I think the guys got silver, which got a really strong disabled team. But yeah, he's been a great influence. His enthusiasm is for all things fly fishing. It's infectious. Whether he's fishing with me or he fishes in a thing that was at Stocks actually. He's been there for many years. And I can't overstate how much he's helped me over the years actually. So whenever we go off, when we were travelling back, we'd dissecting the day, how it had gone, or what we probably should have done, areas we should have done, should have tried this, should have tried that. And then usually, as we got nearer home, we'd start planning the next trip, wherever we were going. And we still do.
And he's still fishing, going strong in his 80s?
He still is, yeah.
So when did you... Because the first time I met you was in the BFI, or the BFFI.
Yeah.
Easy to see why you were on the tyres row with the quality of flies, and I've looked at the pictures on social media. And so when did the fly tying come in then? Did you actually, as soon as you started fly fishing, or did that come later?
It came a little bit later, and it came later because I enjoy tying flies. I tie flies most days.
Do you?
When I get home from when I get home from work, and I'll spend an hour, a couple of hours, or as long as I need until I get fed up, and then I'll go in. But just enjoy it, yeah. Enjoy it. And the variation in patterns that I tie now has changed over the years. That as you do a bit, you start expanding on what you tie.
I've noticed when I'm looking at the photographs, and you sent some earlier today as well, a lot of your flies are based on wet flies and loch style. Do you prefer to tie those sort of patterns?
Yeah, I think so. I think because where we set off from, it was predominantly flake and loch style flies that we were tying. I mean, stocks, dabblers and umbles and those kind of patterns were successful at stock. We used them a lot. They worked well alongside people fishing type patterns, bobs and boobies, and that's where where I started tying them. We were even using wet fly style boobies way back when.
Yeah.
Now that they're starting to appear in Ireland and using them for a few years as well, but it's been sort of kept quiet. Dabbler based wet flies, edge based wet flies with booby eyes on. The purists don't like the bit of foam on the front, but they work.
Yeah,
they really do work.
It's been hugely popular, especially the claret dabbler with that. The foam on the front has been a huge seller in Ireland, I noticed. You wouldn't think it.
Very much so, yeah.
Do you fish Ireland at all?
I fished it once. I'd like to go over more. We have some family in Ireland, but time hasn't just allowed up to yet. But I will. But I went over there. Actually, that was with the England disabled guys, and we fished Loch Earn.
Right,
one of their disabled internationals. Mayfly time as well.
Yeah. So
it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
And you've just come back as well, because you were actually tying as well in the Irish Fly Fair, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. That was really good. It was ace to be invited over there by Stevie Morn and Darryl Mooney. But what a week! This year has been or as I understand, it's been a real success. The buzz around the show was great. The anglers coming back and fly tyers coming back, and a lot of the shops and the demonstrators. Everything that I heard was all positive. So hopefully, they'll get it back on for next year. Well worth it. It was a brilliant week. You can always learn. I had a wander around and looking at some of the other fly dressers out there, and you can always pick something up. Always, you can always learn something. And it was nice to see the variation. Some of the guys that were over from Iceland and Italy. Stefan Larsson was over from Sweden, and some of the dries down to size 32s. The detail, it's
32.
No, it's good.
Size 12 is my limit.
So. Will
you do much in the winter now, or will you wait till next year?
A little bit of river fishing this winter when river levels will allow, and then we'll spend some time up at Barnesfold, January, February. And luckily, I've been invited again to the BFFI at Stafford, February, which I'm really looking forward to. That I always look at that as a real season kick-off.
Yeah, it's a good time of year, February. Then, isn't it? You're keen then, and you're planning the season.
Yeah, definitely. And then early March, actually, I'm up at Glasgow Angling Centre with the Partridge team, which will be nice. I'm up there for 3 days, so I'm looking forward to that time with the Partridge guys. So we'll be looking then. We're already looking ahead to the airflow team. As far as individuals concerned, Ceri, for next year, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might well give it a miss for it.
Do you know what? The number of anglers I've spoken to in the last 12 months saying they're going to give the competition scene a miss are strange.
It's more a time thing, to be honest. September, if you're lucky enough to get through one of the qualifiers, then September becomes really busy. And I want to do a few other things next year as well. So, what would your goal be for next year? Interesting question, that. I haven't really set any yet. I'll tell you what we have got to look forward to, actually. We've got the invitational event in May at Rutland, which we qualified when we fished the international final this year. So that will be a really good event in May. Looking forward to that on Rutland. It's a good time of year to fish it, isn't it, Rutland? May. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Well, I think it's changed. I'm not sure the buzzer fishing is as strong as it used to be. They're still there, and you still get the hatches, but it's not as I remember when we used to go and, there were big black buzzers coming off. I'm not sure the hatches are as big as they used to be. Yeah, then there's a shrimp in there, isn't there? Yeah. I fished it July. I think I fished it. Was it June or June? I fished it last year and the year before, June. Yeah. And even though I had fish, I had to work hard for them. But this year, as you said, the shrimp, we didn't need a boat. Most anglers were catching on a bank, and they were in inches of water. Yeah, I think they were doing that in May, June, early season last year, and then continued throughout the year. But it'd be interesting to see how that all pans out. Well, you're home from work now. Are you going to be tying some flies tonight? I probably will be. Got a few more jigs to get in a box, but yeah, we'll probably be doing some more. Well, I noticed there was one or two buzzers in the pictures you sent. They were really nice looking buzzers. That's something I've got to tie up now. I'm short of them. So I'll be on the case later on. I'm going to tie a few buzzers. Well, I've enjoyed our chat. The phone line has been going in and out, but we got around it in the end. But there's one more question I want to ask you. Where would you want to be to make your last cast? Well, I'm sure you already know, but without question, undoubtedly, it would be Malham Tarn. Very special place to me. There's nowhere else that I can go and catch quality of fish that you catch on Malham. The area that you're surrounded by, the limestone pavement, it's a very, very special place. And luckily for me, on my doorstep. You need to come up, Ceri. You need to come up and have a look. Definitely. I will be looking forward to that. But cheers, Stephen. Anyway. You take care. No problem, Ceri, and I'll be in touch. Nice one. Cheers, Stephen. Bye now. Thanks, Ceri. See you later. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want to listen to more, please consider becoming a Patreon. We will get weekly podcasts and access to over 160 episodes, behind-the-scenes photography to go with each episode, plus other exclusive content. To become a Patreon, visit patreon.com/casting with Ceri Jones, or you can find the link on my website, castingwithcerijones.com. That's all for now. Tight lines, and may they always be up in the wave.